Hi everyone. So this is day three recap. First, I want to tell you what we had covered in day three. So first, the RFM analysis data. We created a line chart showing sales over time. Then we also looked at total sales per customer, and we looked at the total sales for the top 10% customer, and also created a day of week and category heat map. Then we also created a Plotly sunburst chart, the one that you see here. And we also created a scatter chart with the total sales amount, number of transactions, frequency, and the data label only for values above a certain threshold. Then we also did a small preview of K-means algorithm, which is the K-means data, where we uploaded again our data, and we wanted to understand how many clusters or segments of customers can be formed. And that is what we created. We can see the clusters that are there. So this is what I'm going to work on. Let me come back to my folder. And k-means is what we had done. Let's open this. So if you notice, we did this in Excel as well. So what I'm going to do is to copy this in the day three folder. And we will also make a copy which is without all the Python analytics, just the raw file. So let's remove all of this. Yeah, I think we are good to go. Perfect. Let's work on the RFM data first. So RFM, if you remember, is RFM analysis raw. The data is very straightforward. We have transaction ID, customer code, date, category, and sales amount. This is what we are going to load in Google Colab. Let me open a new notebook. Let's connect and upload our file. So RFM analysis raw. So we'll go step by step. We have already done this on the second day. So the first thing I want to do is to see total sales over time, which is daily. We know the drill. We can go to Gemini and say, oh, first we have to add it. So I'll add the file. I will say, show total sales for each day as a line chart. As you can see, it is creating the code for us. We simply accept and run. Now remember, don't get worried if you get errors. Errors, like I said earlier, are very common when it comes to Python. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that you're actually learning with every error. We can explain the error. And as you can see, it tells you I have already corrected the code in the previous turn. Let's run it one more time. Now you notice the error comes one more time. Now it says this is happening because the code is trying to use a column called invoice date, which does not exist in the data. The correct column name for the date is date. I like the fact that even the errors are, very meaningful. Now you might say, but Havish, why did it pick invoice date? After all, if we look at the Excel file, we don't actually have an invoice date here. We only have the date. So these are all learnings. And what I would suggest here is that we delete this block of code and we start from scratch, which means I will first say read it. Let's systematically go and ask Colab to read. So I will accept and run. Now it knows what columns are there. Now if I ask it, hey, show me a line chart, total sales for each date. The chances are better that it is going to understand what we want. And you can clearly see it's picking the date column. So it's clearly better. When I run it, you notice we get a line chart. What is the learning here? The learning here, one is not to get worried. And the second learning is that try to understand why the error happened. And in most cases, it's very logical. It is logical because when you did not ask it to read the data and directly create a chart, we were jumping a few steps, which is not a good thing. Next, I would like to show you the heat map, which I, really like. But if you think about it, I also need a day of week, which means is it a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like that? That means we need to add a new column. So I will say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to do that again. Accept and run. Okay, I will say add a new column showing name of the day. I think that's quite straightforward. I mean, it should understand what we want. And as you can see, when I run it, it adds a new column with the name of the day. Now I say, hey, I want a heat map showing name of day and category by total sales. A heat map showing name of day and category by total sales. We will run it and it just works. Beautiful, right? Uh, to some extent, you can do this on Excel. It's just more beautiful looking, and the way it's giving you suggestions and prompts. I think that's fantastic. The next one is this beautiful sunburst chart that we have created on something called Plotly. So I will just come here and say, hey, create a sunburst. And what does it have? The sunburst, everyone, has top five customers, right? Top three categories for these customers by total sales. So in a way, we want like an inner circle and an outer circle. And if you notice, we accept and run this. And there we go. I think this looks fantastic, right? It's like a pie chart, but just something you can't create on Excel. And the final one we did was this scatter chart, which again, I quite like. So we want to use a scatter chart with the number of transactions and the sales amount. So we will say, hey, create a scatter chart with number of transactions and sales amount, which is the frequency on X axis, the total sales amount on Y axis, and show each customer code. So we want a scatter chart with two variables, the number of transactions frequency on the X axis, total sales amount on the Y axis, and the customer code. That is how it looks. Now, if I ask it, hey, can you do this on Plotly? Can you do this on Plotly? Let's see if it is smart enough to figure that out. It does seem so. We will run it again. And it just works. It's just a little more beautiful because now I can sort of drag an area. It can zoom in. I can double click to zoom out. But the thing is, I also want to see label. So I will say for all the values where the frequency is 5 or more, so where frequency is 5 or more, please show the data label because I would like to know who are these customers. As you can see, when I run it, It now tells me who the customers are. I think that looks fantastic. And what if you want to color it? If I say, okay, show these labels more than four as a maybe a green color. So this is the formatting that we are doing. That is how nuanced it can be. We will run it. And as you can see, it just works. It changes the color as well. Pretty cool, right? So this, everyone, is a quick recap. Like I discussed on day two, if you're not sure where to start, just go to ChatGPT, have a conversation. See, now that I'm helping you, everything is going to work the first time. But then, obviously, right? I mean, you have to keep on experimenting. That is one of the most important skills for a developer, that you must keep on experimenting. So, all the very best, and please keep practicing. I'm here to help you. But always remember, if you get stuck, if there are errors, that's not a bad sign. That's a good sign, right?